Hi, LuvJunKeys, and welcome back to our channel where we celebrate all things love, and God is love. Now, I know I'm looking a little different today. Makeup is my thing. It's just my thing, okay? And I'm not apologizing for it. Some people drink to relax. Some people take a swim by the pool. In the pool. Some people go to the beach to relax. I do makeup, okay? Don't judge me. Anyway, what is it all for if we can't have fun with it, right? Anyway, I wanted to talk today about patience. It is hot out here in these streets. And not just in these streets. I tell you, if we're not careful, it will not only be hot with impatience in these streets, but it'll be hot inside of us with impatience. And that's where things really take a wrong turn, because it's one thing when things are happening outside of ourselves, we're trying to navigate that. But what do we do when all of the negativity and the issues, isms, schisms, and sufferings that we deal with on the outside of ourselves get on the inside? And that is, that's the worst, because we can walk away from people that are acting crazy. But wherever we go, there we are, right? Wherever you go, there you are. So you might as well handle you, right? Anyway, I really just wanted to talk about it because I think lately, even for myself, I've just been feeling very impatient with myself, actually. I think when 2020 hit and all this coronavirus business hit, and I think in the beginning it was really scary. But then when everything shut down and things changed on the job and all of this stuff happened and the world got quiet, and still, right? We're all locked up. I think in the beginning, like I said, it was scary, but then right after that, I started seeing the blessing of it all, the being able to stay home. There's all these blessings of just the stillness of life, the hustle and bustle that we were dealing with, or that I was dealing with. It just wasn't the same. So there was just all these wonderful benefits to it. And then it just kind of kept going and going and going, lockdown after lockdown, we all just kept saying, I think at one point, I just can't wait for things to get back to normal. We don't accept this as our new normal, all on social media. It's not our new normal. People were protesting and not wanting to wear masks and all kinds of fake news what's going on out there about the virus. And we just couldn't make sense of it all, and I bet you we all didn't expect for it to last this long. But one of the benefits that I saw of that whole time too is that I thought, okay, well, because I've got some goals, I've got some personal goals that I wanted to accomplish, and I thought, well, all the shutdown was going to give me this opportunity to get those things done. Right? We're all like, okay, I can just stay home. I can do all the stuff that I wanted to do that I never made time for when I was in the hustle and the bustle. So we have these things and we think that we're going to accomplish all this. And here we are in December. And for me, I found myself like, oh my God, I'm nowhere near accomplishing any of those goals that I had for myself. I expected more out of myself by this time, and I really was starting to get not only disappointed, but just really impatient with myself, impatient with my behaviors, impatient with my habits, impatient with the fact that my habits haven't changed enough. In all of this year and all of the changes that the world forced upon me, I was really trying to go about making deliberately some changes in my own lifestyle as I saw, having everything shut down, really kind of put me in perspective, when the light kind of dims on one area, right? The light started dimming on, all the hustle and bustle and the things that we thought were important. All of a sudden the light just kind of begins to open on yourself. And so as the light was opening upon me and I was seeing myself more clearly, there was a lot that I wanted to change. And here I am in December, and I'm just not as far along in those things as I want to be. And I was finding myself just inwardly impatient and frustrated. And the thing is, this whole pandemic and dealing with all of this really long, there's a lot of stuff going on out there. There's a lot of impatience going on, and are the Karens on the rise? you know, are the Karens on the rise? And if you know, you know. I'm not going to explain that, but if you know, you know. But what we're finding, these Karens, right, are these incredibly impatient women who are going about, right, telling people how they should be, where they should act, how they should act, and what they should do, like they're running the world. They're women, though. They're these women that are feeling out of control on the inside of themselves, impatient with the discomfort that the world is bringing them. And they're manifesting this impatience out on other people. And then now, they're coining the term the Karens because they're so outrageously public with it. Things that people only thought in private, now Karens are coming out their mouth in public, right? We can sit behind the wheel and cuss somebody out who has just cut us off on the road, but they don't hear it. But a Karen will come up to you and be all up in your face about how impatient she is with your behavior, particularly if it's causing her any level of discomfort. And so it's not just the Karens of the world. Everybody are finding themselves in the midst of this pandemic, having to wear masks all day, dealing with not being able to breathe appropriately half the daggone day. When you're in public trying to handle your business, it's uncomfortable. And it makes us feel just impatient with life and impatient with everything that's going on out there. And then people just manifesting their impatience all over each other. People cutting. It's all like a dog-eat-dog world. There's so much fear going on and so much impatience with the discomfort of this time. We're all manifesting this ugliness out on one another, creating even more discomfort and dis-ease within society now, not just in my house. And now I'm not just, uncomfortable with me. I gotta make everybody else uncomfortable. Right? And so we're all just so impatient with everything that's going on because we're not used to this. We're not used to running our lives this way or feeling so restricted or limited. It's the land of the free and the home of the brave. Don't tell me I got to be on lockdown 2 different times, right? It's hard. It's uncomfortable. And there's a lot of fear, and people are not caring. The lack of compassion I am finding right now. And I mean among even professions that are supposed to be compassionate, like doctors. My goodness, I had an issue in my own body going on in April. I couldn't even get a doctor to see me. Okay, until this past month. It was crazy. They're so busy worried about themselves. I don't want to get corona, so I'm not going to see you, even though I've been trained to, to take care of you, even though I've been trained to find out what is going on with you. Because I don't want to expose myself, I'm going to, let you suffer. I mean, it is unreal. It's unfathomable to me, the lack of compassion that's going on right now. It's just unreal. And it's all this discomfort, this impatience, and the fear of the unknown, or even the fear of the things we already know, about how severe respiratory distress that people find themselves in when they get this virus. Nobody wants to have to go through that. So I want to talk particularly about impatience, because I think with the larger situation we find ourselves in, we have 100,000 reasons in a day to get impatient just walking outside our door. But what about the impatience that goes on in here? Somebody does something to me outside of those doors that stirs up impatience in me. I can just walk away. I can mutter right underneath my breath and keep it pushing. But that impatience I hold within myself, or even the impatience that I have towards myself, now that's not something I can escape. I can't just walk away from me, right? And so I just want to talk about that a little bit, because I want to talk about that because I know that our love, particularly for ourselves even, gets compromised when we allow impatience to be a part of our everyday reality. Impatience, particularly towards ourselves now. And I focus there in particular because we will always intentionally put patience on as a means to an end, right? So what I mean by that is, now impatience is a means to an end. And so, or rather patience, well, they both are. Here's what I mean. So impatience as a means to an end is, I get impatient, I get into an attitude, I start manifesting that attitude on you, reading you up and down for filth, telling you to get out of my way, cussing at you because you're doing the wrong thing or you're acting stupid or whatever it is that I'm impatient with when it comes to your behaviors and what you're doing. And I'm manifesting all this impatience on you, and I'm doing it with the hopes that my desires are going to be gratified immediately, because that's the goal. Because what I want is to get rid of the dis-ease that's on the inside of me when it comes to me having to deal with you. Right? So that or even myself. So that impatience, it serves its purpose. It has it's a means to an end. I'm going to manifest this because I'm going to manifest this so that I can get what it is that I want. And I can get it right now. Right? It's very prideful. It's very arrogant. We want what we want right now, and it doesn't matter what's going on with somebody else. But see, patience is the fruit of humility. And this is why it is so essential, because whether I'm being impatient with other people or impatient with myself, the reality is what's happening on the inside of me, it doesn't know the difference. That dis-ease, that discomfort that's going on in my emotions, it doesn't know the difference between I'm directing that at somebody else or I'm directing that at myself. And a lot of times, though, we don't pay attention to the fact that we direct it towards ourselves. We put patience on to have to deal with other people. I will put patience on when I'm in the car and I'm really feeling all footless because grandma in front of me is going 10 miles an hour and I'm trying to get to work. I may not be in my car, going, come on, grandma, yelling at her and making all kinds of songs. Hand signals and, I may not be doing all of that. So I'm going to put on patience, right? It's a means to an end. I'm going to put on patience just so that I can get through the situation. I'm standing in a line, right? It looks short to begin with, but now all of a sudden I'm standing in the line at the grocery store and I don't know whatever is on the fritz going on over there, but now I got to wait an extra 20 minutes because the manager has come over. They can't figure out something going on up there. And now I'm just like hanging out like I have got nothing better to do. Right? Now, I could be all in the aisle shaking my card and going, come on, you know what I mean? Because that's how you feel on the inside. Come on, just can we get it moving? Don't you guys know what you're doing? Right? I could be acting out and manifesting all this impatience, but I will put on patience just to get through the situation. It's a means to an end. That's how we see patience a lot of times, is that it's just a means to an end. Well, patience is actually a means to an end, but it's a means to an even greater end. And actually the kind of end, as it were, that we want to have. Right? Because no matter what is going on the outside of you, you always want that inside of you to be at rest, to be at peace. Because you cannot control what is happening on the outside of you, but you can control what's happening on the inside of you. You cannot control how somebody else behaves, but you can control how you choose to behave, how you choose to see things, and thus how you choose to feel. Remember, I mentioned it in a previous video. You can't think one way and feel another. Whatever you think, the feelings will follow. I can't think thoughts of peace and have feelings of impatience, right? Okay, so it's a means to an end. So patience itself as a means to an end has a great end. That end that we want that peace going inside of ourselves, that no matter what is going on, we are copacetic, right? We're copacetic. And so Patience is a means to an end. That end is relieving the inner discomfort caused by not having our desires satisfied, or relieving the discomfort caused by some sort of affliction, right? And that word affliction is really interesting, because, you know, you hear affliction, you're like, oh, like disease, like, you know what I mean? People were afflicted with leprosy, or they're afflicted with, you know, so we think of the larger things. But here's what the dictionary had to say about affliction, right? So affliction means a state of pain, distress, or grief, misery, a cause of mental or bodily pain, such as sickness, loss, calamity, or persecution, right? Something somebody else is doing towards you. And so this is what love has to say about it. Remember, God is love. Okay, and this is what he has to say about it. In Romans chapter 12, verse 12, this is what it says. And this is the New International Version. It says, be joyful in hope, be patient in affliction, and be faithful in prayer, which is really key. And we'll get to that in another video. But be patient in affliction. And sometimes it just seems like a foreign concept. I think when I didn't understand the power of my own mind to take mastery over my emotions, or even my own ability to take mastery over my mind, I didn't even know that was a thing, you know, that we can do that, you know, that we can think on purpose. Who knew? You know, when I didn't know any of that, I didn't really kind of get any of that, I had the heart, the mind, and the attitude that was just like, I just can't, you know, I feel what I feel. It is what it is. Not realizing that I was just letting myself be led around by my emotions aimlessly. So patience is a matter of attitude. We also think, I think sometimes of patience just as waiting. Gotta wait for something. But that's very true. And it's true. But at the same time, it's like, it's not just the waiting. It is the attitude that you hold while you wait. And when it comes to the impatience that we can have towards ourselves, we do get frustrated, right? I was telling you, like, I was getting frustrated that I didn't make the changes I wanted to make in this year. Like, by this time, I expected to have certain things under control, you know, or certain things absolutely changed in my life. And it just didn't happen that way. Some of the goals that I had set for myself to have certain things accomplished, certain projects I'm working on, I expected to have them finished. And not even that, you know, and just having that impatience with myself and that frustration within myself, for myself, that lack of patience, you know, for all the other things that got in the way that I had to deal with, that put me in the condition that I'm in right now, which is not having those things accomplished to the extent that I wanted them to be. But when I show myself patience, when I choose to have a good attitude towards myself and not be frustrated and impatient with myself, because that's the thing, when we don't pay attention to what we're thinking about, especially towards ourselves, we take it out on other people. You know, and we think it's their problem and their fault because you said this and you did that. But the reality is you're just unhappy with yourself. And it doesn't matter what that person says or what that person does, you're still going to come at them crazy. Because you're coming at yourself crazy and you don't even realize it. When somebody is outside of you is calling you stupid and telling you how come you do such dumb stuff? How come you're not thinking? Why don't you use your brain? You know, sounds like familiar stuff you might have heard when you was a kid. And now that you're older, you parent yourself in the same way. You know, you make a mistake and, God, why am I so stupid? Right? That's the impatience towards your own self. You know, damn it, dummy. And you're saying that towards yourself. Now, if somebody else were to come along and say that to you, you'd be, how dare you say that to me? You don't know me, shut your trap. You know, you'd be ready to fight. But it's okay for you to say those things to yourself. And believe me, whether you're paying attention or not, if you feel that towards yourself, there are thoughts behind it. And it's important for you to get a hold of exactly what those thoughts are. I always make poor choices. Got myself into another relationship with a freaking idiot. Why? How can I be so stupid? We just saw a girl. There's this girl online. I forget her name. I know if I went and looked, and she's crazy popular. One minute she was on the gram with her man and her, her pregnancy belly, and they all booed up and hugged up and taking pictures, and it's all cool. The next minute she's on the net talking about what a loser he is and calling herself stupid. And I'm not judging her, because isn't that what we all do from time to time, right? We'll say those things to ourselves in private when nobody's around, or sometimes it doesn't even come out of our mouth. It doesn't even hit the text. It doesn't even hit Twitter, right? You won't say those things on the ground, but you'll say those things to yourself all day long. We want other people to love us and fill up these places inside of us that we're not even willing to touch ourselves. We want people to give us a love that we will silently convince ourselves daily that we're not worthy of. And then wonder why things aren't working out. We can do better. We can really love ourselves for real and begin to be patient with ourselves when we're not doing all of what we expect ourselves to do, when we are not achieving all that we expect ourselves to achieve. Life is more than just your achievements. Half of us can't even master being, let alone achieving, right? So I just wanted to remind you today to just be kind to yourself through patience. And know that you are a human being and you go through things just like everybody else does. And if you would not allow somebody to come to you and tell you that you are stupid, or that you are, you just can't handle things right, or that you, no matter how much you set these goals, you just can't do it, and all the things that you say to yourself silently. If you wouldn't let somebody else come and say those things to you, then maybe it's time to stop saying those things to yourself and love yourself by being patient with your shortcomings and giving yourself some grace and some room to not only breathe, but grow. So I hope you got something valuable from that Love Junkies, another beautiful love meditation. Our God is love, and he teaches us how to love through his word, and I love sharing that with you. And so I invite you to join the Love Junkie family. If you heard something that you like, hit that subscribe button, and we can always use another member of the family and another voice in the conversation. Until our next video, see you guys. Bye.